Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for your ongoing support. Today we're going to be taking a look at RNDR. The ticker is RNDR against USD. This is on the Kraken chart on the weekly time frame. Now, before I start, I do apologize. I'm a bit under the weather at the moment. I've got a bit of a cold, so just a heads up. And again, this is not financial advice. This is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. So let's have a little look here. RNDR taking out his previous all-time high, currently in price discovery. And we can see that since breaking out of this all-time high, RNDR has been coming back to this high range and holding it as support throughout April into May. And right now we've sort of come back up off of this support and the previous high and are rallying back up to see if we can tackle this high here. Now, what I wanted to point out for RNDR on a weekly is we have this sort of upwards trending channel for RNDR that started back here in June 2022. So you can see we've got multiple points of resistance on this trend line. Again, where you started back here in 2022, we had a couple points here, just shy here, a few weeks up here, a couple of weeks up here, and again, just coming up past the all-time high, we ran into this resistance. And we also have a key level of support within this trend too, which has been going on for a few years, of which has less points of contact of support and much more points of contact of resistance. So you can see here, again on this trend line, we've only had one back in January of 2023, and we had a few along this trend line here of September 2023 as well, and we haven't come back down since. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do see RNDR fail to push higher than this local high. If this move off of this previous high support doesn't sustain and we fail to take out this local top, if I just put that to white, if we fail to take that trend line out and run up to shy and put in a lower high than the current all-time high, so we've got a high here, if we come up and fail and put in a lower high, I would expect some sort of potential ABC here, where we've come back to the neckline of the previous all-time high. We've ran up for a lower high here. I'm going to see where this resistance currently is and if it's got any confluence on a fib in a second. But potentially we could be coming back just for a flat ABC here. And I think that we might be able to hold this level of support and sort of coil up. And within this previous all-time high, we've come up, got a new one, come back to it for support, put in if we fail to take out this high, this all-time high, then I think, yeah, we could be coming back to this ascending trend line again, just like we've had multiple touches of support in previous years. Again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of contact on resistance and only 2 so far on this ascending channel of support. So ideally, I think it would be healthy to see us again failing to tackle this high and putting a lower high in. This potentially could be an ABC back down to support, accumulate in the previous all-time high range before looking for your next continuation of move up into resistance again on this trend line further down the line. So it's all about holding this low, I think, for me. If it does lose that low, we can look for a potential retracement target. So if we get a fib on from this local high, retracing to this low here, where we last had a couple of weeks correction, it's the next significant low prior to this low we have here, then I think, again, you can see very, very clearly here that the 050 at $6.75, which is our current support, is quite strong. But failing to hold that, I think we might come back to the $5.72, which would be a bit more of a steeper C wave, failing to take out the all-time high. If this is the B wave, we could potentially come back down to $5.72 and sweep the 050. And I think it would put a lot of fear into people, but again, you're just coming back down to this ascending trend line of support that it's been holding for multi-years. So it's all about support and resistance. You can evidently see we're stuck in this channel here, and potentially we're being rejected right now, looking for a key level of support which sits between the 050 at $6.70 and $5.70 at the 0618. So I think this sort of golden ratio area back down to the previous high for support, a sort of slow steady accumulation around that range before the next leg up. Now, where could the next leg up be? This all obviously depends on previous on what this project does, and even if it does come back to sort of these prices and accumulate around here for a few more weeks, then I think we potentially could be looking for another move up towards the $21 region, potentially at the 1618. So if we do come down to, say, this trend line and the golden ratio between, where was he looking, about $6.70 or $6.70 or something like that, wasn't it? If we start marching up here, we could see the 1618 met by as soon as, where are we, July, August, and that's a 228% move from this low and this previous all-time high if we manage to get this pullback here and create this A, B, C wave back into key support, back into ascending channel support for the next leg up. It would be quite scary if we did see something like this happen, where we coil up and lose this channel of support and confirm it as resistance. At that point, I would think that we're going to come in for a much deeper retracement, and this is just one massive impulsive move that's played out, and we're coming back for a steeper leg of retracement. But again, that hasn't happened yet, and it doesn't necessarily have to. We do have this ascending level of support that has been holding on for a couple of years, and it would just be nice if we was to be pulling back now to see us come back to that key range before continuation into price discovery. Again, that doesn't have to happen, but that's my short-term outlook. I do think it's great to see the fact that we're holding above the previous all-time high here as support. It would just be so nice to see it sort of come up and just sort of hover around this sort of range, accumulate before the breakout, potentially put in some sort of falling wedge on previous resistance of the all-time high as support, looking for the breakout. It'd be lovely to see. But again, if we do lose the all-time high, previous all-time high support, again, as I said, just look back for this ascending support channel. It's been holding for a very long time. So that would be a great entry point in my opinion, or a place at least to see some sort of relief. But for now, I do think potentially we are in some sort of ABC, failing to take this high out. If we do see RNDR obviously start to come up here and put in a higher low and start to coil up in some sort of ascending triangle under the resistance, okay, where you've got a low, come up to resistance, come back for a higher low and start to coil up, then that could be the sign that, okay, we're not going to come back down to this resistance anymore. The last couple of weeks that we had as support, come back to support, the last couple of weeks where we actually had a couple of weeks support might have been the low, and this is where it's just getting ready to gear up and take out the all-time high. Okay, so it's literally just about taking out this all-time high. If we see it get back above that, you're bullish, looking for continuation. If we fail to put in a new high and put in a lower high, I do think we're looking for a deeper retracement back down to this support line and ascendingly that ascending level of support that I showed you guys earlier. So that's a quick update for me today on RNDR. Here we go, there's the trend line. You can see there is a sort of crossroads right here of support, which again, this doesn't have to come into play, but it wouldn't surprise me if over the next few months we tag along sideways into July. And again, this crossroads right here on the chart between support and this ascending support, horizontal and vertical support, sits on the 15th of July. So who knows, I might come back again soon and see if this project has failed to take out its lower high, all-time high, put in some ABC before gearing up again. I would like to point out again, we do see these corrections play out over time here. You had some sort of wave ABC down, you had this A, B and a C. Again, in other charts, this would have been some sort of cup and handle here under resistance. You broke out. Right now we're still in the middle of forming this pattern, so it's quite hard to say what's going to occur, because if we look at the monthly again, actually this is quite a telling chart really, because from this low here you've got a wave 1, this is potentially a wave 2. Right now we're in wave 3, still potentially in it. I don't know, I'd have to have a look into it, but potentially wave 3, or we're going for a wave 4 right now, coming back, as I said, to this previous high support, looking for the 5th wave and that below off top. Where could that be? Well, if we get a fib on from our all-time low up to the previous all-time high, I believe that right now, I think RNDR is trying to at least get to the $19 at the 1272, and this cycle's targets for me would be somewhere up at the 1618 at $62. Now, I'm not saying that has to happen overnight, but you can see we are in this sort of wave format here where you've got wave 1, a wave 2 corrective wave, a wave 3. Right now, we're potentially in a wave 4, and then looking for the final 5th wave of this cycle. And I do think after this large impulsive wave, we could be entering the next phase and potentially coming back in for a bear market, but who knows. I will analyze this project a bit more down the line and try to deliver as much content as I can, but for now, from Chart Nerd TA, guys, take care, peace out.